Hey everybody, this is Andy Argo Media Cyphers. I'm probably going to be uploading this sometime this weekend because we missed you on Tuesday. I was out sick. I got a COVID booster and it knocked me on my butt. But there's a lot going on and really wanted to like dive into at least a few things before our next show. It's going to be this upcoming Tuesday. But first of all, Lawrence, how are you doing? You just got out of work. How are things going?
Yeah, Lawrence Calvert, Media Ciphers, you know what I'm saying? It's it's a lot, man. Just out here trying to help out, trying to do the best we can with what we got. And what we got is not a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
especially since 47 and Musk, because of some of their Doge cuts, some of the federal funding that funds my job and funds the organization that I'm a part of got hit. Like, you
Oh,
know what I'm
damn.
saying?
Yeah. Hmm.
Like for those
Yeah.
that know, like I've talked about this on the show before, and I'm driving in my car, I'm on my way home. So like I don't know how this is gonna sound. But I work for I'm just gonna out myself since I'm doxing myself, right? I work for a Griffin Place. I'm the street outreach coordinator. And uh Griffin Place, for those who don't know, for the state of Michigan, is the national suicide uh, hotline. 988 and 211. 211 is where, if you are in crisis, if you know people who are in crisis, if they need food, if they need rental assistance, if they need housing assistance or things of that nature, you call 211. If you are a veteran, or if you are someone who is thinking about who's been having suicidal thoughts and those type of things, and you want someone to talk to, 988 is always available. We are is 24 hours. We will always answer, right? What people don't realize is that those cuts to veterans, like to veteran affairs and medical mental health services, that Doge cut, that cut into our funding, especially for a lot of veterans, and especially for a lot of people in Michigan who have gone down that road, or thinking about going down that road. And I don't think people realize how much of an impact and how much good in people's lives organizations and nonprofits like ours do, and what will happen when our organization.
Well, I think your feed cut out just a sec, Lawrence. Can we get you back? I know. I'll just kind of jump off of that. Lawrence
Protest.
speaking to. Okay,
There's
sorry,
also why
we
there's a
lost you.
protest tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. We're actually going to be interviewing some folks from Indivisible on Tuesday. So look at that. We're going to do a little bit of a postmortem. I would be there covering it myself, but I actually have to work, ironically enough.
Yeah.
And
I
so
I also I also have to work. So
yeah.
yeah, if you are available and if you are in move, I think it's moveon.org. They have all of the events and all of the organizing of the day of action. April 5th is a day of action. People are going out and protesting. There are multiple places, not just in Michigan, but across the state. But if you're in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where we are,
Hmm.
hey, 12 to 2 on Westnich, South Westnich. You will see them. Go join them. Make some noise. Bring some water. Go and support, because the
Hmm.
funding and the funding and the waste, fraud, and abuse that that Elon and 47 is cutting cuts directly into our communities. It doesn't matter if you are brown, black, white, yellow. It doesn't matter if you are a fully abled, if you're disabled, if you're gay, straight, trans, or whatever. All of the things that they are doing are affecting all of us.
Yep. And one thing I would like to mention, I mean, I think we've had some discussions on the show. It's just like I've had criticisms of some of kind of the bigger, more kind of liberal coded protests that have happened in recent years. But
You're
I
not the
think
only
this
one.
one is particularly important because, again, it is a national answer, not just to like Trump's typical antics, but again to the kind of neoliberal endgame, the defunding of the social safety net. And in a very concrete level, I think it's a really good opportunity for those of you out there, especially maybe if you're younger, you don't know necessarily where to plug in. There's going to be a lot of people down there representing a lot of different groups. So you again, whatever issue is important to you, it's sometimes these big demonstrations. It's a good way to kind of network and see what is out there in the community, and you kind of see what you can get plugged into. And as I mentioned before, we will be interviewing some folks on our next live show next Tuesday about what's going to be going on tomorrow. Um, so I really want to pivot from that to, again, there's a lot of big stories going on. We're going to talk about. I want to talk about one that was kind of criminally underreported on in kind of the deluge of news, but it's one I've been kind of watching for. Again, it's just another thing right out of the 2025 playbook, and democracy in America, it was nice while it lasted. But what's interesting, I'm referring to the Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections executive order that Trump uh, put down. Guys, it was almost like 2 weeks at this point, actually. It was on the 27th of March. Or, well, I guess it was about a week ago. Um, and before I go into the nasty details and how what I just said really isn't hyperbole, it's interesting to me from a media perspective. It really follows a pattern that we've seen where election integrity issues do not really get covered in the mainstream media, only to the extent that, again, like 4 years ago, we had Trump making a bunch of stuff up about how he got cheated out of the election and stuff like that. And we do hear the right wing specter of like, oh, illegal voting, which, again, experts and people who actually do investigative reporting uh, to it has found, like, again, statistically almost non existent. Um, but I bring this up just to say this did not stay in the headlines very long. It maybe like it made a quick little splash and then it was out again. And at the same time, especially in liberal media, I've been hearing some of this since Cory Booker, is all this talk about like who's going to run in 2028, who's the midterms, etc. And the extent to which this executive order is being ignored makes all of that like it is the bread and circuses to the fact that if everything that is in this executive order happens, it will make what is left of American democracy non-functional. And again, anybody who's listened to our show for a long time know we have pointed out America's got really bad election integrity to begin with. But to use a metaphor, American voting in American democracy is like being in a grocery store and you have a shopping cart where three of the wheels are broken. This grocery store, you have Democrats and the Republicans on either side of the aisle. It's a very long aisle. Check it out. All of the other options are like dead down at the other end of the store. You have to drag your broken cart like half a mile to get there. That's the current state of American democracy. This thing passes, no wheels at all. The Democratic aisle's just been knocked over, and it's been put on the other side of the store with the Green Party and the Socialist Party and the Libertarian Party and all that other stuff.
Nah, dog. It got sent to the upper room. That's what it got sent to the
Yeah,
upper room. It is. It was.
yeah.
It is with the ancestors. Okay, that's where it is now. Like,
Hey, excuse me, or do you work here? Do you have any democracy in the back? And then they tell you to go look,
right,
and then you wait there for
right.
about
Dog.
30 minutes.
It is. It is. So the thing that always pissed me off because we're talking about our show always talks about media analysis, right? so many people was saying he's not a dictator, he's not a fascist, because if he was to do a order, or if he was to do something that's illegal, the courts will stop him. Has the court stopped him? That man has allowed brown shirts, and that's what they are. I'm sorry to say it. Look, I'm as much as I want to be like I'm a cab. I'm not gonna sit here and be like and act like that as of right now, because I want to see people who are in those positions of power have some dignity, have some humanity, because snatching up undocumented people or green card holders because they said a bad word or posted an article about boycotting divestment and sanctions of another country, not this country, of another country. Your anti-colonialism can get you black bagged, and this man is making it that much harder for everyone else to now vote, to have their voices heard, and is making it easier for us who want to resist to disappear. So when you had people who said, "Hey, he's acting like a fascist. Hey, he really likes dictators. Hey, he wants to be one of these folks," right? And how many times on mainstream media did you hear people be like, "He's not acting like that. He's not going to do that. Uh, the courts will stop him. He's defied court orders. He's laughed in the face of court orders. He looked at the court orders the same way that he looks at consent. He just laughs at it and does what he wants anyway."
So let
And
me, so
now
I,
we've
yeah,
and
yeah. Oh,
now
go
we've
ahead.
gotten
I'm
to the
sorry.
point. No, but now we've gotten to the point where it's not just him, it's also Elon. They are openly just the tariff issue is a prime example of them just being like, "No, we're just gonna do what we'll do what we want." Oh, the courts got something to say about it. Oh, you're gonna stop me with you and what army? That's how he's acting. That's literally what he's just done with the tariffs. He's walked into the room like the mobster in American Gangster, like Tango from American Gangster, talking about, and he's talking to the rest of the world, saying, "Hey, I'm the landlord now, and the rent's 20%."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Before we get too deep into the weeds of some of this other stuff, I did want to
yeah,
circle back to what the actual implications are of this executive order. Basically, what he is trying to make the states do, and by the way, historically, it has also been written that like states handle election law and election rules. But basically, what he is trying to do, which is going to purge hundreds of thousands of people off their voter rolls. For example, just in Georgia alone, the Secretary of State set to remove around 466,000 people, which is four times Trump's victory last year. But it would require that people have either a passport or your original birth certificate, or a real ID. But that's only in five states that allow you to add citizenship to the real ID. So that most of the country that wouldn't work either. So you need either a passport or an original birth certificate. Here's where things get really spooky. So if the name on your birth certificate, your original birth certificate, is different from your current name, that would be ineligible as proof of citizenship, which amounts to about 69 million women in this country who, took their husband's last name through marriage. I mean, this is
yeah.
like some real, like it. What would it say? The Handmaid's Tale, new season of Handmaid's Tale. It's crazy that the show's been on so long that it came true. Um, Now let's say, okay, that's fine. Well, let's just get a passport. Most American citizens, again, a lot of people in this country don't really travel like that. And the majority of American citizens do not have a passport. And a passport itself costs about $70, which basically amounts to a 21st century poll tax for most people. And again, this affects non-white populations disproportionately. Only about 34% of Black Americans currently have a passport they can use to prove their citizenship. Again, that's not even much lower. Like white folks, that's 42%. So it's not even that much difference there. He is also going to make mail-in. He's going to really cripple the efficacy of mail-in voting by making it so mail-in ballots that arrive at election day are no longer going to be counted. Um, and it basically means if you want to vote for by mail, there is a non-insignificant chance that it's just going to get thrown out. If you manage to vote at all by having your birth certificate, being a being a dude in there, got or having a passport, etc. So that is the implication. Is in what Trump is basically he's using the federal purse to try to blackmail states into signing on for this. Now there has been lawsuits are already being filed. I think there's already one coming out of Colorado. There's 19 states. 19 states are suing over the elections order, which is good. But we really want to underscore something that, again, the mainstream press is really not talking about. If if this actually passed, it would basically just be, let us think, who are most likely to have passports and not have their name changed on a birth certificate. The answer is land owning white men. We're circling back to the
Yeah,
19th century.
yeah,
Oh, God.
dog. It is unfortunate to think that the amount of progress our country has had, right? The amount of progress that we have been trying to do, the expanding of the circle of liberty, that we've been trying to do that for a very long time. And in one fell swoop, we have a person that's like, nah, dog, y'all good. Y'all don't need that. Who need who needs like and shout out to Ellie, big Ellie. I forgot. I'm blanking on his name. He has a brand new book out. I think it's called Bad Laws. He like we really have to start our book ban club, our anti-book ban club, and both of his books would be in it. Let me see if I can find the dude. Um, he was just on the Breakfast Club. He works at the Nation. Ellie Martell, he works at the Nation. Nope, wrong person. Uh, but yeah, it's amazing to me to think that oh yeah, Ellie, I keep fucking messing up his last name. Mystal, Mastel. He's an American author. He's also a lawyer. He's written two amazing books, Bad Law, uh, and his other book that I just ordered, by the way. Both of these books, amazing. Allow Me to Retort is talking about how the Constitution, looking at the Constitution from the black guy's perspective, right? Um, Both of those books are fantastic. Definitely go buy them. He was just on the Breakfast Club, and the reason why I bring him up is because he was talking about voter these type of gerrymandering and voter ID and voter suppression tactics that the Republicans have always wanted. If you want to be like, hey, you want everyone to to have an ID or some type of verification so that we don't have fraud, fine. If you allow people when they move or get married, that ID that they have follows them, goes with them, that they can go to a different state and move and don't have to re-register. There shouldn't be this extra barrier to stopping citizens who are of age from voting, unless your goal is not to get everybody their actual voice, but to suppress the vote for your favor. And as we know, Republicans historically has said it publicly that they don't want a lot of voter turnout. They don't want a lot of people's voices because when more people turn out, usually the Republican loses because their policies are garbage. It's only the 30% of the country that actually supports them. And
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
and you see how desperate they are to stop us from using our voice. If if voting and being active and using your voice in protests, in boycotts, in sanctions, and divestments, and using your right as a citizen to reject or empower those that are in power, these Republicans wouldn't be doing everything in their power to take that from you if it wasn't that important.
I think Greg Palast, who I was actually citing some of his article, he's great election integrity journalist, but I think he once said he,
Greg Palast just did an interview with Kyle Kalinske and Crystal Ball,
mhm.
and he talked about how this election was actually stolen. Like at
Yeah,
like really
yeah.
that
We I don't think
interview,
we had
it's
a
on.
I don't think we had a chance to talk about it on the show, but technically, if with we just subtracted a lot of the voter suppression antics from the last election, then technically Kamala Harris would be president, and we'd be having some
if
very different
if
conversations about I don't know the
if you have not seen that interview, it's on Crystal Kyle and Friends Substack. Please watch it. It is outstanding. We don't have
mhm.
time to go through it because we have too much news to talk about. We will
Yeah.
go through it another time, just not today.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just we'll link to that article. In like again, like there has been pushback to it, but again, bringing back to where I started, the fact that this is not the five alarm fires that the media is looking at, it really, I think it is kind of an indictment of the media as fourth state because like if all this stuff passed and they were just still like just constant horse race speculation or like who's running in 2028, who's running in 2026, it's like if all this stuff running for what, running on the hamster wheel, because that's what it would basically amount to. But yeah, so we'll link to all that. I know, but there's other stuff we got to talk about too. Lawrence, what did you want to hop on next?
Man, since we're um well, there's a few things. One, Bill Maher's a hack. He's always been a hack. Enough said. If you he has his own little podcast that he does, and he talked about how he was able to go to the White House, and Chris Rock, Dana White, Trump, and all this. They all was palling around and basically having class solidarity at the White House, and him
Class
being
solidarity of the
so.
rich, as I was saying.
Yeah, class
Yeah,
solidarity of the rich. It was one of the
yeah.
most garbage things I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, he's always been a hack, and now he's full hack. So yeah, that's one thing. Um that's a quick hit. Sam Cedar went on the Patrick Big David show, the valuetainment right winger,
Yeah, yeah.
who got his riches by basically doing multi-level marketing scheme, and he's a right winger that's pure capitalist. Why do we need these illegals in our country, even though his parents are immigrants? Yeah, it's
Emily was
him and
literally
those kind
telling
of
me about
people.
this right before we started recording, but yeah, go on. I'm
Bro,
sorry. Yeah.
bro, Sam. Okay, here's the thing. Like, okay, for those, this is some inside stuff. We always talk about news commentary and news breakdown, and one of the main sources that I like to pull from outside of the Majority Report, Secular Talk, Jacobin, The Intercept, you know, Punch and The Nation, depending on the writers, but also was the Young Turks, right? And there's been this giant hubbub with that news outlet and other leftists because certain people want to capitulate to right-wing fascism and certain people don't. I'm not saying who is and who's not. That's y'all judgment. You know what I'm saying? I like when the vanguards of our side. I don't like it when we're fighting each other. I like it when we're fighting those who are keeping us from progress, right? Um, like you know what I'm saying? It's we're all trying to get to the same location. We're just all taking different paths, right? I want solidarity for people who are on the left. But Sam, for the last 10 to 20 years, have had callers call in, and he's debated right wingers, and he did a whole thing on Jack what was it, Jubilee, of him debating 20 right wingers. Yeah, he went into this room of five of them and just was dunking on them, all of them at the same time. It's brilliant. You should go watch it. It's fantastic. But the thing that I wanted to talk about the most, I just wanted to give Sam his credit. Um, we had a historic moment in Congress. Shout out to This is what I'm going to give a shout out to Cory Booker. Now, this is not me endorsing him. I do not think that he should run in 2020 in 2028. I don't think that he's a standard bearer for the Democratic Party, but we have to give credit where credit's due. The man broke Strom Thurmond's filibuster record. He spoke for 25 hours talking about how we must resist this fascist takeover of our country, that the Democrats need to stand up and fight, that the Senate needs to not let the Republicans kill off Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and that we need to stand up and resist. And then 20 to 30 minutes, almost an hour later, uh, the Senate all unanimously voted in another fascist in Donald Trump's cabinet picks. It was it it pissed me off so much because I'm like, look, I want to support Cory. I want
Mhm.
I want to give Democrats, when they do good things, I want to give them credit. Like AOC and Bernie, when they've been having this historic run of Fight the Oligarchy tour, right? Trying to get people to check in and stay engaged, stay informed, and to understand that our fight isn't with other broke people. Our fight is against the oligarchs that's running our country. Great. Cory, breaking the racist Strom Thurmond's record on the filibuster, breaking that record, fantastic. Talking about we need class solidarity and fighting for the working class, fantastic. Why did everybody in the Senate confirm Trump's cabinet picks? How you gonna talk about fighting and resisting? How you gonna talk about fighting and resisting, and then y'all okayed not one person, not one Democrat can be like, nah, not this nutcase.
So, for those of you like, at home, if you don't know, the filibuster is not just an opportunity for a politician to just exercise their vocal cords for an unusually long duration. It is a strategy that politicians use in the Senate to block either bad legislation, to kind of basically in order
Okay.
to stop the wheels in Congress going
To also stop progress. Let's also be clear. The
and
filibuster
stop progress. Yes.
has always been a racist tool to help those who want to kill progress. The
So
majority
yeah,
of the time that
famously, it's Strom Thurmond. Yeah, but
famously, yeah,
mhm.
famously, the filibuster was created to uh fight back against anti-lynching laws, was to fight back against laws that were trying to help disenfranchise brown and black people across the nation. Every time you look up the filibuster, even when you look at the joke of what the Senate made the filibuster during President Obama's term. Every piece of legislation that he wanted to get through, they objectively and effectively stalled and stopped so much that they stole some of his Supreme Court seats by using the filibuster, right? The Democrats use the filibuster. They use it not to stop a piece of legislation like the legislation that Chuck Schumer and those other
Mhm.
traitors of the Democratic Party who voted for um, that bipartisan garbage, right? They didn't use the filibuster then. Cory didn't filibuster for 25 minutes then,
Yeah.
but he did, I mean, 25 hours then, but he did filibuster now. So again, I'm going to
Yeah.
give you credit when you deserve it.
I would say though, just like it's almost more unusual and bizarre to use the just he literally did a filibuster to do a filibuster.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
again, like you mentioned, that would have come in really handy during like the Senate budget hearings, or just like a little bit later when Trump was trying to confirm what. Imagine if the Democrats. So Dominican Cons brought this up. It's like, what wouldn't it have been like neat if maybe he picked, he gotten like five of his fellow senators to also do these 24-hour filibusters and have some demands attached to them, or basically just hold the GOP hostage for a week, use it to raise money, do this
Hell,
stuff.
hell,
And
hell,
yeah,
he could have did. They could have did the filibuster so that the anti-vaxxer Robert F. Kennedy wouldn't be
that is
head of HHS. They
that
could
is
have used
exactly what I
the
was gonna say.
filibuster. They could have
Yeah.
used the filibuster
Hmm.
to stop what's her name? What's her name? She was a Democrat and now she's over the CIA. I forgot that other
Alyssa Slotkin was it? I
no,
heard you
not
said CIA, so
not
that's where
no,
my brain went.
not Melissa Slogin.
Yeah.
Whatever that I forgot that lady's name. Tulsi Gabbard. They could have used the filibuster against her. They could have used filibuster against Dr. Oz. They could have used this filibuster, this same one that Corey's been doing for 25 hours. They could have used it on any other piece of product that had been coming out of Congress and the Senate.
Yeah.
But they
And what's
wait
been
until they
interesting,
don't have anything, and now he does it.
it's interesting, I get to watch the media responses because the liberal media has almost been it is a turning point. It's the second coming of, I don't say Jesus, maybe Obama, I don't know. But it's a second coming of something. They've really been treating this as like the this is the story of the youth. This is Democrats fighting back. They're fighting back. And I mean, look, he said even some stuff that I, as like a Marxist, kind of agree with. I like that bit about how we shouldn't ignore American history, but he seems to be ignoring the bits of American history where politicians actually used strategy to get what they want instead of just basically running a 25 hour long political commercial for themselves, which sorry, that's kind of what it amounted to,
That
because it generated all this press and it generated all of these good feelings from a lot of some liberal activists when effectively he did not he did not really push the needle anywhere. And especially again, how frustrating it is where there was some gross, substantial legislation that happened literally just minutes afterwards, talking about the confirmations, talking about not too much later on, with we're sending more money to Israel to support the genocide. Where's my filibuster on that? So it's yeah, it is like the most cynical read of it is Cory Booker making history for himself so that he can like pivot to some like leadership position and stuff. Because again, Republicans,
I
Republicans, like politicians will want to have attention the same way, but there is always a strategic element to how they gum up with the works in Washington. Whereas here, it was literally that's the moment you don't do a filibuster when nothing is like really on the line. It was
it
strange
is
to say the least. Yeah.
it again. I don't want to like I said, positive reinforcement. I'm happy that he did it. I am happy that I'm happy that he did it. I'm happy that Strom Thurmond's record is no longer standing, because the more we can take away from these loathsome, racist, disgusting human beings, the better. All of those things are wonderful. The timing. That's what it just boils down to. The timing. What? When are you doing this? You did the. You did this. You did this thing when you got national attention. You should be getting national attention, railing against everything Trump's been doing. We're talking about cutting veterans affairs. He had a wannabe State of the Union, and had a child that had what was it, cancer or AIDS or something. What people don't did not talk about, or what the Democrats didn't talk about, was that the same companies that made that child sick, he helped deregulate, and was getting campaign contributions from. That's what you should be railing against. How disgusting is it that that man used a sick child as a prop while he is taking money from the same companies that's going to make more kids like him? This man has a spiritual advisor who was accused of sexually assaulting kids. And we're talking about a man who was also accused and found guilty of sexual misconduct. We're talking about the president and his spiritual advisor. There are so many things that this fascist administration has been doing daily, from getting information, from getting Social Security information that Doge shouldn't be having, from the people that was hired at Doge was illegal, was hackers who got fired from their other jobs because they were leaking secrets from those corporations, now working at Doge. That the waste, fraud, and abuse that they're finding, there's no evidence of yet. Elon and Twitter and Tesla are still getting government contracts. They're the first ones to know about what government contracts are coming out, and he's still getting paid, even though he's supposed to be finding waste, fraud, and abuse. That this man has spent more time golfing than actually governing. There are so many things that, if you actually care about the substance of these issues, he talked about veterans, but he cut funding for veteran affairs. They fired multiple veterans that work for the government that voted for him. He cut mental health care for veterans and for veteran spouses. The whole idea of DEI has affected disabled people, veterans, veteran spouses, uh, people in the LGBT community, people in the Latin community, people in the Asian community, especially Black people as well. And none of those Democrats, those same ones that's been praising Cory, and again, I'm also praising Cory. Y'all have not, the only people who's been actively speaking about the blatant hypocrisy and corruption consistently is AOC and Bernie Sanders. Shout out to some of the other squad members. They've also been doing their thing. I want to shout out Rashid Tlaib. I want to shout out Ilhan Omar. I want to shout out on Zateo, Cory Bush and Jamal Bowman has their own show talking about corruption, talking about how the Israel lobby is affecting power. Shout out to Zateo, another great media organization out here doing the Lord's work. Shout out to Francesca Fiorentini, because she has her own show on there too. You have so much material to fight back and to talk about the garbage. And you finally get the media's attention to do so. And when it's time for you to fight back, actually fight back, you fold it. It's amazing to me to see how many people who talk about revolutionary. This is not just the Democratic Party that I'm talking about in this criticism. It's amazing to me to see how many people watch the Hunger Games, watch Squid Games. So see all these things that's about all these allegories about fighting back against the system and the allegory. They love the Matrix and all that, right? We're a part of the
Star
resistance.
Wars.
Right. And but when it's time to actually fight back against fascism, they either are complicit or they're indifferent. And it's like, fam, where are we? What are you doing? I'm glad you're finally doing something. I want you to do better.
Yeah, and like, I guess like I'd say even what I will say is it may be a little bit in the right direction from the people who are for that kind of stuff. For Cory Booker and stuff, but I think just I kind of want listeners to really, because something that I even kind of critiqued, like the Bernie Sanders rallies about is, what are these tangibly doing? Are they leading into more organizing? Are they leading into some form of action? And while again, like the rallies, AOC and Bernie are doing, they have a much greater potential for action that can kind of get people, galvanized to get involved with labor organizing or with what happened with Cory Booker. Although he said a lot of on point stuff, is I feel like it almost has this effect of it's like a balm. It is the Democrats can point to that. It's like, see, we're actually doing something. While again, these points that we brought up about like how they're using the filibuster, how unusual it is, how to like just do a filibuster. The reason it's you know the thing is we're like we in the streets, we're the ones who are supposed to be making these statements and speaking out and speaking truth to power. Cory Booker is in power. He had the power to do more with that speech than just say it. And I think that also says something about the state of the opposition party in the United States. Is that again, that's the Democratic Party in a nutshell. They will do this thing. They will do this. They will say the words, but when it comes time to stop a nominee or stop a genocide or stand up, for working people, they'll lean into the parliamentarian, or they will again. Cory Booker himself very much funded by APAC. So you know beware. I mean, again, for a lot of reasons you mentioned, Lawrence, it wasn't a complete nothing burger, but beware of putting so much stock in it that you miss the forest for the trees, and understand that you know it can also have a kind of uh, what's the word I'm looking for, um, placating effect, where it's like, ah, look, the Democrats, they just did a thing, but what did they actually do? You need to really kind of think through that. And again, how come, for instance, that filibuster didn't happen during the budget hearings, or et cetera, so on. I am going to have to wrap up our session in just a minute here. I got to meet with a community member in a sec, but do you have any quick hits before we wrap up this conversation, Lawrence?
Um hey, we're gonna be doing you said that later this week we're gonna be doing some we're gonna catch up this weekend,
Yeah, we
right?
got a lot
And
to
do
catch
some
up
more of
on.
these.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
because bruh, okay. Um Israel and their final solution. I don't know if you saw what Bibi and Johan Gallant and some of them's been saying. Like they're acting like the Nazis right now, and they actually have defined their final solution. It's crazy. Um, the filmmaker of what? No more land.
No
They
other
kid
land. Yeah.
no other
Um,
land. Dog,
mhm.
they kidnapped an
Oh
Oscar
yeah,
award winning
we were
filmmaker.
talking about
Like,
that a couple shows ago. Oh, by the way, that is
yo.
I'll be talking about this more as it gets closer, but that is actually going to be No Other Land is going to be screening here in Kalamazoo. It's gonna
Let
be
me
over
know,
at
please. Let me know.
yeah, gonna be over at Dormouse Theater on April. Sorry, I'm literally looking it up in my phone right now. It's gonna be Sunday, April. Um, oh, my
Yeah.
laptop won't
So
work.
that the fact that the Israeli government was like, "Hey, yo, so you want to talk about the apartheid before October 7th? Oh, we got something for you to talk about. Jail." Like what? What?
Oh
Like
Lord.
you just go
Okay.
lock this man up. Y'all just gonna kidnap this man? That's what we doing out here? Like
Okay.
I'm
By
like,
the way, everybody, that film screening of No Other Land is going to be May 4th, at 8 p.m. Or 8:30 p.m. Over at Dormouse Theater, hosted by Monoform Cinema. So again,
yeah.
it's not
Uh
streaming
so
anywhere, and it's not in big U.S. theaters. So this is a rare and important evening for folks in Kalamazoo to see this film. So.
yes, go see the film, go and support. Make sure you always support. It is absolutely everything that we need out here. Like it is crazy. Um I find I yeah, I am planning on seeing it myself. Like I can't wait.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up for now, but again, we've got some more catch-up shows we'll be doing later this week. Everybody out there, keep on fighting for that revolution solution.